Hi, John. I'm 60 years old and the very proud owner of Shadow. I'll mention here that I'm not mentioning this woman's name or I'm changing even the name of the dog here. Shadow's a black Labrador cross. I have a back injury that impedes the way that I walk, and my daughter got me this dog in hopes that Shadow would get me out of the house. First off, I need to say that Shadow is a little intimidating. He's way too smart for me, but in the best way possible. He's 10 months old now and completed his basic training at 3.5 months. From there, I enrolled him with Service Dogs Canada, where he completed that at 5.5 months. About 2 weeks ago, we had an unfortunate accident where he pulled me off my feet. We were both equally to blame. I suffered 2 breaks in my left radius, contusions from my knee to my ankle, and a good scrape to my other knee. Now, sadly, I'm afraid to walk my best friend. John, I feel like I'm letting my best friend down. He's still a pup and needs his exercise, and my heart breaks when he looks at me with his sad eyes, like he's saying he's sorry every single day. I'm hoping that you can give me some guidance as to how I can get him back on the right track. And as I say, I'm not going to identify this person or where they're from. I'll be up front and say right off the bat here, this is a huge pet peeve of mine, and this letter upset me immensely. So much so, to my embarrassment, I couldn't even reach out to this woman in a timely manner. I want to cover it here in the podcast, so at least you'll see my perspective on this sort of service dog scenario. This wasn't an accident. I mean, this woman describes it as an unfortunate accident. This was not an accident. This was an inevitability. This was, in my view, an assault, a criminal negligence perpetrated by an alleged trainer and some technically operating within the law, but not morality or ethics, service dog certification organization. Give me a break. This dog is completed basic training at 3.5 months of age, and then a service dog association says he's completed his service dog certification, whatever that is, at 5.5 months. The dog is not even 1/3 of the way to adulthood, and already he's got an unbelievably complex designation if it was legitimate, and just an incredible job. I'm just going to give you an idea here. I went to this company's site, and here's some of the just malicious propaganda they've got on there. What does it take for a dog to become a service dog, they write? There's no legal requirement for a service dog to be trained by a professional trainer in order to have public access rights. Yes, that's correct. For some reason, service dog organizations profess that only dogs professionally trained have public access rights. Well, maybe one of the reasons is somebody certified a puppy and now it's somewhere around 10 months of age, still just barely, not even near an adult, still an adolescent, has severely injured somebody, their owner. They go on to write, a person with a disability has the right to train his or her own service dog, regardless of ability, with the help of a trainer or without. Regardless of whether that trainer has experience, and that this is another level of obedience than the average person's looking for. Once the following 2 requirements are met, owner has a disability and dog is trained to assist the person. Is that all? The owner and the service dog may not be denied access to any public facility. With your dog wearing a service dog vest, you will always be welcomed. At Service Dogs Canada, we want to provide you and your canine everything you will ever need to be accepted in society. You will not have any difficulty as long as your dog is trained and behaved. So, how do you get this certification? Well, you check a box and you send them $250, although they do have a sale on now for $200. What do you get for that? A service dog vest with an embroidered pad, a plastic wallet card, photos optional, customized metal collar tag, service dog certificate, information booklet, and other nonsense. In a legitimate Service dog, emotional support dog scenario. Let's talk about service dog right now. Here's one of my favorite organizations, National Service Dogs. They have been breeding Labrador Retrievers for specific function for a long time. They've got, 30 generations. And they select very carefully 3 to 12 weeks of age and then spend 18 months teaching those dogs life skills that would be required to be in keeping with the level of responsibility that dog is going to have to provide stability and support for their target audience. Of their program, 40% of the dogs fail. That's with all of that and by 18 months of age. And they have a higher success rate than the average service dog organization does in legitimate ones. So basically here we have some random amateur dog. This is why I keep saying all through my podcast, amateur dog trainer, amateur dog trainer. We've got somebody who, devoid of, as I say, morality or ethics, has led somebody to believe that they can rely on this dog. One, I would have to select the dog ideally. I want to make sure that dog has the sort of stability, because right now it's basically a roll of the dice. At least organizations like National Service Dogs do everything in their power to make sure that they get their genetics all lined up in a row. So we've got a dog who doesn't have all of that. Maybe this dog came from working lines, like hunting lines, and it's just like super rammy. National Service Dogs describes their dogs as carpets with legs or rugs with legs. The dogs are stay at home, focus on their owner, whereas some Labrador Retrievers are just like get the bird, get the bird, get the bird, get the bird, let's go. Well, you got to match these dogs properly. There's all these dog trainers popping up who will provide you with the training you need to have a service dog. I have seen this before. I've got articles on my website. If you go on to askthedogguy.com and you look up service dog scams, you'll see some amazing stories there of things that like unbelievable costs and unbelievable promises that are impossible to fulfill, but there are no regulations in this industry. And this is why it's so upsetting to me, and it's an embarrassment to me as a dog trainer that this sort of thing has gone on, and this poor woman has been injured. So, can someone see? I don't like the whole. I don't like that there are no regulations basically at all. But I don't like that. I'm afraid that the regulations would be that it has to come through an official company, because I think that there are grades of dogs as far as the level of responsibility. Like an emotional support dog, that's basically a dog that I want to be able to go with a person and provide them with emotional support, and not be a nuisance to others at all, not be so stressed by the experience that certain things will trigger them into anxiety or aggression or whatever. Like the dogs have to be screened properly, but I think that can be done, and I just think that, and then can the person teach the dog the life skills? And what life skills? Well, to me, it doesn't need to be Lassie in as far as perfection in all senses, but if somebody says come, that dog's got to have grass stains on the pads of their feet. That person should be able to say down, stay, and be able to eat a dinner in a cafeteria and not have to be staring at their dog or have their dog wandering around or begging for food. That dog should be able to walk in a manner on a leash that person can reliably, no matter what the urban distractions are in the environment, come home with both of their arms the same length. So that dog needs to be tested around squirrels and geese and skateboards and bicycles and all sorts of things. How long will that take? How long did it take us to learn life skills? Every species, it basically takes till you're an adult. So boy, before I'd put a stamp of approval, the dog would be a minimum of 18 months for some breeds and a lot more than that for other breeds. It's got to be the right breed as well. I can't tell you how many people want guidance on how to get their cane corso to be their emotional support dog. Now, I get the appeal. I get, particularly if of having a guard dog, if the emotional instability that you're suffering from is because you've been attacked in the past or whatever. But a guard dog is not the best choice, because if you have a breakdown, how's a first responder going to get to you when there's like a 120-pound guard dog going, not today, buddy. Can it be done? Yes, occasionally you will run into, I just ran into a cane corso, a female, a little while ago, would have been a perfect candidate for that, but exception to the rule. So it's just that to do this properly, and because one of the things that it breaks my heart, because I look at these dogs as medical devices, and then I see some therapist or a doctor write a note saying, yes, your dog is now, you would benefit from having an emotional support dog, there you go, and then you run off to this organization and they get you a vet. But what happens if that dog can't handle that stress, and that person has either gone out and got a dog that was not a good match, or taken their own family dog and started to expose it to things that dog just can't handle the pressure? Well, that's not fair to the dog. But what about the person who is trying to open up their lives, and now they've got a dog they can no longer rely? Oh, let's get rid of the dog and get another one, get the right dog. They're not going to do that. I want to say, I've written, I can't tell you how many doctors, and I've written some medical podcasts to talk about this, both mental health podcasts and GP podcasts, trying to become a guest on their show so that we can talk about what it actually takes to increase the success rate. But this poor woman has a dog who may have the potential here, but I don't know who the heck this set her up to think that by 5.5 months of age that she could smack a vest on that dog and say, all right, you're a service dog, you should. But I'm heartbroken that she's been injured. But imagine if that dog had injured somebody else. And I know there was no maliciousness in it. The dog is just full of vim and vinegar. It's a pup, and every outing is like the gateway of Disneyland to the dog. And boy, it takes a long time for a dog to learn to exercise its suck it up muscle around things that are unique outside of the home. As I say, squirrels and geese and different types of traffic. And oh man, the level of testing that I put a dog through before I would, and I won't put my stamp of approval and say that dog is certified in my view, unless I was involved in finding the right breed, finding the right pup, doing the right imprinting, doing the right training. And even then, you can expect that there's going to be perhaps limitations on what that dog's able to do. I think the beauty, though, is that those limitations are likely livable. And so I'd hate to see it that, the dog has to, be a $15,000 dog provided by an organization, and you've got a 2-year waiting list. No, I think there's a lot of room for opportunity here but I think it needs to be structured, and this is a byproduct of what happens in this unregulated industry with people whose reach out exceeds their grasp. I'm not talking about this woman. I think she is an innocent victim. I'm talking about the lack of ethics that it takes to not read the riot act like I've just done, as far as here's the reality. I don't care what the law says. If you want to do it and do it right, here's how it should be done. So nope, there's no 5.5-month-old dog should be a service dog. No 3.5-month-old dog can complete basic training. They can't. Boy, it disgusts me, and it is unfortunately unbelievably common. So my heart goes out to this lady. I wish I had not been so upset by it, and I had been able to reach out to her a little bit more quickly. But this dog may have potential, but it'll be a journey here, and she may need some outside help to take the dog for a while if the dog's that powerful. But It's not impossible that she couldn't handle this self, but I'll tell you, slow is going to be fast in the way of doing this, and she's looking at a journey. The dog's 10 months of age now. I'd say that dog has been messed up with the training. She actually sent me a little video of the dog, and yep, it looked pretty impressive if you want to teach a dog tricks. We don't want to teach tricks, and that's what happened. She took the dog in a scenario where teaching the tricks in a treat is not going to be enough. And so the methodology has to be right for dogs like this in order to proof them for exercising their suck it up muscle, because there'll be sorts of things that here old Shadow is just, which is what I called him, it's not his real name, but where Shadow is naturally going to be stimulated and triggered, but he's going to have to do what he was told to do because he was told to do it. That is taught in a certain way, and not the way I saw this woman training in the videos that she sent me. That's how I would train dogs to do movie stunts, TV tricks for TV, just tricks in general for fun. I'm all for that, to stimulate a dog and keep their minds busy, but not life skills, not how it's taught, and I've talked about that in a lot of podcasts. So there's my diatribe and my frustration, and this upset me to no end. Still does, every time I think about it. If you find that any of the many free resources I provide companion dog owners via the Ask the Dog Guy YouTube channel or website have informed you, saved you time, and perhaps even saved you a little money, please buy me a coffee. Alternatively, you can also become a monthly sponsor, which will go a long way to spreading the word about science and common sense in the companion dog training world. You can find details in the notes. Many thanks.